Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can actually go up against this squad, which a lot of people are saying is better than last year's, or rather 2019's KT Rolster. So let's take a look here as we are going to go into pick and ban for this one. KT in the blue, KEG in the red.
Well, so far will be the KeSPA taken away by KT, followed up by a Gragas on the other side. So far, just Lucian. And of course, if you guys did not tune in yesterday, or just, you know, didn't pay attention and can't read the middle of your screen there at the bottom, there is a global ban on Diana and Aphelios. So we'll not be seeing either of those picks throughout the duration of the KeSPA Cup. Otherwise, we are on patch version 9.24b. So very much up to date in that regard. I'm kind of glad that Aphelios isn't involved. I haven't had the time or the education required to read through all of his patch notes to comprehend exactly what he does. But given the videos that I've seen, it seems like he presses Q a couple times and everyone dies.
That's kind of the way it goes usually. So I did get a couple of messages, and I did go ahead and check the Twitter of Dragon X, and apparently a lot of the guys here on the side of KG Ulsan are from the Dragon X organization, kind of the second squad coming in here. So definitely an interesting one, as Misfortune is going to be picked up here as the first pick. She is definitely one of the most played 80 carries nowadays, rather. And we've been seeing a lot of Varus, Tom Kench, Varus Braum, a lot of other boring combinations down there in the bottom lane.
Well, maybe we'll get some things spruced up a little bit here as we continue forward. Just the Varus locked in so far. As they wait, it seems like the Olaf might be coming out to play yet again. Will be the lockdown here for Ulsan.
I wonder if we're going to see Lee Sin from Malra. He's hovering the Kindred here, though. We have seen a lot of Lee Sin versus Olaf. Lee Sin in response to Olaf in the draft. We saw Leona banned a couple of times yesterday, but I don't think we've actually seen it played just yet. But it looks like it is going to be locked in.
Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and get that pickup coming through. So a lot of lockdown there for that bottom lane. Have the slow coming out from the Make It Rain for the Misfortune. Leona, of course, can just Zenith Blade forward, get the stuns coming out, and then an Alawi right now being hovered for the top lane. We, of course, saw Ixu play this one just yesterday, but instead might just be the flip over. You were mentioning it, the Lee Sin, so could just see that taken for Malrang in the jungle.
Would not surprise me even a tiny bit, especially because Malrang does love that champion. It's great into the Olaf, and it's basically one of the only combinations we've seen in the jungle coming in here at the KeSPA Cup, as we are going to be looking to probably pick up a support for the side of KEG Ulsan. There is the Braum available. There is also the Tom Kench, but he decides to go for Thresh, a little bit more aggressive here, and can flay away the Leona if he gets in, or rather if she does leash onto.
Yeah, has that pushback for the added advantage of disengaging. Now, the bans for the next phase will be coming through, so we're just going to be seeing the Aurelia taken away here by KEG Ulsan, answered back with a Jax ban by KT Rolster.
Yeah, the Jax coming in. I also searched up KUS. He seems like a big-time top Jax player, so I do not mind going ahead and taking that one away and just denying that one here early on from the side of KUS. Fiora going to be banned, so maybe considering taking an early Aatrox and then maybe counterpicking for the mid lane against Kuro would be an interesting one here.
Right now, just taking their time, thinking about this final ban from the side of KT Rolster. Where do they want to go? Do they want to take away that Aatrox, perhaps, that you were just mentioning? Get rid of another one of those top lane or mid lane potential picks. But instead, it's going to be the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, the Mordekaiser is up there towards the top of the tiers in not only the top lane, but in all lanes. Well, I shouldn't say he's used in all lanes, but what I mean is amongst all the champions, he is also considered very high tier. as the Aatrox prediction comes through. The Fiora ban definitely foreshadowing that one, as it could be flexed into the mid lane at the same time, so it leaves it open here for the last pick for KG Ulsan. Not a bad idea, as most likely going to have to blind pick for the mid lane as Orianna is picked up. I like it in contingency with the Lee Sin and the Leona, so KT's draft also coming in pretty nicely here.
Yeah, they got a lot of AoE control between the Leona and this Orianna. And, I mean, you imagine that Command Shockwave layered in with the MF ult coming through as well. You can absolutely just devastate the enemy team very quickly. So that might just very well be the plan for KT. Go for the Wombo combos. And it will be a Renekton on top of it all to go up into that top lane for Ray.
Yeah, it does mean that it is pretty much all physical damage outside of the Orianna, who's going to be bringing in the bulk of that here. We're looking at a mid lane pick now. It is going to be Talia coming in here into the mid lane. Did not see that at all yesterday, but will be played here by Quad into that Orianna. He had the chance to counter pick it with the Fiora ban into the Aatrox for the top side. It did allow Ray, though, to get a pretty good matchup into the Aatrox, so I will be curious to see how that top lane does go. Should heavily favor Ray here.
See how he handles it. Coming back over from the LPL here into Korea, where he's been bounced around a little bit as far as the regions are concerned, but I'm sure he's going to be very happy to be back in his home country of South Korea after his time over on EDG. We'll see how they fare, though. Headsets getting ready to come off as the coaches will be stepping out of the booths. KG Ulsan, time to get strapped in. Try to take down KT Rolster here in the first matchup of the day. We'll see if they are up to the task, or if KT will be able to start things off with a 1-0 start here in this series. Best of 3, guys. Let's go ahead and get ready to see who comes out on top.
Guys, I didn't notice that many
I don't think
fans in the audience.
Yeah,
so
I
I
think
think
we're going to have the chant
I think
going.
we're going to have to do this again.
All
Okay,
right.
well. KT Rolster, Hana, do it, say, KT fighting!
KT Ulsan, 하나, 둘, 셋.
KT Ulsan fighting.
Yeah. I lost the voice when I started talking, so
You
I just
lost your train of thought.
I just gave up on it.
What
I definitely
team
had a
is
lot
this?
more time that I could have been filling in.
Dragon X fighting.
I was just sorry, I was distracted just enjoying that music so much.
Yeah, you're getting some good riffs down.
All right, first ward has died in 54 seconds. An excellent start for KG Ulsan. Now making their way up the river, completely spotted out here by KT. Just waiting in the brush, maybe to go in for a late invade. Cheeky gank. Nope, never mind. That would be too interesting.
that would be too much action here early on.
We need to
This
slow
is Korean
down.
League of Legends.
This is not the LPL.
Yeah. Don't know what you guys were expecting. So taking a look at the drafts, we got kind of 2 play-by-plays here, so I suppose you can give your thoughts on the drafts as well. Achilleos, after being away from League of Legends for a long time, but I'll just say right off the bat that I think that KT did win this pretty handily. I think that bottom lane of MF Fortune that they did prioritize is one of the best that you can get right now. In this current patch, MF is an absolute lane bully and has immense teamfight presence, and just in combination with Leona and all of her CC and lockdown, you can do some really gross stuff down there in the bottom side. They got the counter pick for the top side because KEG was prioritizing the mid lane matchup for the mid lane counter pick essentially for Quad versus Kuro. So it's going to be a bit hard for KUS. The Lee Sin into the Olaf is all good. And Orianna for Kuro, just in general, is quite nice. They have scaling in the mix with the Orianna mainly. That's like the main champion that's going to scale pretty nicely. Still good at around 2 items. Whereas I don't know. I think, though, as the game gets really late, there is a chance for KEG to scale really well with the Varus and the Aatrox, but I'm not sure that they're quite going to get there, Seth.
Going to get strapped in for a bit of a longer game if they want to make that happen, but we'll see if KG gives him the opportunity. Kuro, of course, you're mentioning him with the Orianna. This is going to be a very reliable matchup for him because he's been on both sides of this so many times. Was when I was casting one of, if not perhaps the best Talia that we had in the LCK around that time. So certainly going to know what he's doing, and the onus is more so, I think, on Quad to kind of surprise him with his Talia play to try and come out on top of that mid lane. Otherwise, Kuro probably could be happy to sit back and scale up a bit more passively with that Orianna. For now, just chip damage going to be exchanged here into the bottom lane as they continue to level up. No hard engage is really going to be coming through from Tucson yet.
Yeah, and as you were mentioning earlier on, before the draft even started, when we were taking a look at KT Rolster's lineup and their new roster, definitely Malrong is the player that I'm the most interested about, and I know you were saying you were as well. It's a player that didn't find too much success on Jin Air, but we always kind of saw his mechanical prowess and his ability.
Yeah.
And so curious to see if he can make it work on a better roster here, as Malrong is going to have to back away from that one. The push was coming in from the mid lane, so KEG going to win the 2v2.
Yeah, just have to see how he's going to be faring here. I mean, this is obviously a much more storied organization for him to be a part of, surrounded by, one could say, maybe some better players than he's
you can definitely say that.
Undertow not going to connect there. So we'll just go ahead and be a peel back from Inteleon. Oh, actually seals it away.
What?
It's the second axe going through. Malrong holding onto the spike, does not use it. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Engage coming in. Tucson overstepping perhaps a little bit too much. First blood will be coming through. It's actually going to be stolen away, however, by the Thresh, not allowing for Bao to pick that up. But PlateUp manages to find the first blood. Way too aggressive for KT in the bot.
Yeah, you really have to be careful about how aggressive you're going to get. But Tucson just went head first into that. He had the blinders on. He saw blood in the water. He's playing the Leona, and yes, he's level 3, so he can do his nice little combo, but man, that's generally not a good idea, especially when you have a Thresh to lay down the extra shield, put in a flay. We'll see how exactly this gets started. He misses the tether there, and it's just a bunch of damage comes out. But he's Aiming's low on mana, and then Tucson's like, we're going, and Aiming's like, no, we're not.
Yeah, flashes in to get the Q stun. So, I mean, this would have been a little bit more excusable had, you know, he'd been hooked in, but none of the engagement really hit from the side of KEG. And instead, it's just Tucson overstepping, going in with that flash, and he gets punished for it. So both summoners going to be down here for him. And Aiming also loses out on his flash. So big cost for KT Rolster in the bot side of the map, and that sets KG Ulsan very nicely up with this early lead. Inching closer to 1,000 gold, yeah, just now cresting over that.
Well, Dantalion is in a lot of trouble here. Yeah. He's all alone in the jungle.
Still going to be burning the flash, so maybe thinking that he can get out of here. The Undertow will clip through 3 people. The Blast Cone going to be there. Maybe trying to get over to the tower to get an execution off, but can expect that Malrong is not going to allow that to happen. Get to the other side of the minions. Here's the chase forward. Now just going to be trying to deny as much as he can, but the chase forward is there, and Malrong will be able to claim the kill in the end. Not sure about the flash usage, but probably would have held on to that if I were an Olaf in the enemy jungle.
If you were an Olaf. And, yeah, I mean, that was just a little bit of desperation. Gets caught there. It was a nice rotation by KT to actually see that one coming in, even though there were a couple of control wards that did keep that pathway into the jungle a bit secret, but still gets caught out there. And that's going to get the bottom lane a little bit of help, although the Lee Sin does pick up that kill in the end. We take a look at some of the lane states. Really, it's the jungle advantage in terms of CS going towards the Olaf, and also the win down on the bottom side. The Thresh, unfortunately, picked up that kill, though, in the trade. onto Tucson.
But now he's got Moby boots ready to go, so he can roam.
Yeah.
So, as long as he can start impacting other lanes, then it's going to be no problem. He's going to stay in the bot lane the entire time. This always happens when they get the Moby boots first.
Yeah. It's not like your solo queue enemy Thresh that, gets first blood very early on, usually on an invade, and then visits the mid lane like 7 times. That's usually what happens to me when I'm playing in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Not sure about you, so it's annoying. And he's not going to do it just yet, but maybe a little bit later.
Yep. You can see, though, aiming, trying to keep up here as far as the CS is concerned, going to be hovering behind. Just very slightly, 14 CS difference between he and Bao, looking like a release Rengar build as he's got triple Doran's blades in the inventory right now. First Dragon going to be started up, however. Ventaliant looking to take this down. Mountain Drake going to be scooped. So far, Tucson will scout it out. Throws that ward over the wall, but that's going to be the cleanup. So first Dragon going to be taken at 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, good start there. Going to have some extra survivability as the new Mountain Drake. Still extremely good. Not sure where people are rating it compared to the old Mountain Drake. It's still really good for your team in team fights and gets pretty ridiculous, especially if you can get the Dragon Soul as big rotation to the bottom lane.
Yeah, and a big surprise there from Malrung. Has to peel away from the Krugs. And starts coming through. Tucson trying to go forward. Now going to be rooted down. The Varus ult comes out, and he just gets blown up. Ow. This time able to find the kill. No one else really in range to capitalize on Tucson's engage yet again. Just a bit out of sync with the squad. It's the right idea, but the timing is all wrong. Colonel Chains, meanwhile, on the top lane, not going to connect onto Ray, as these guys will just be going back and forth.
Yeah, the word you used there, the synergy with the team, seems to be absolutely just absent here for Tucson so far. Your MF is level 5 at the time. Your Orianna's not there. So I understand why you may want to try to go for an engage, but you got to wait until everything lines up. So generally not the best idea there down in the bottom side. So Tucson a little bit off kilter. And again, he's with a new lineup and a new AD carry. So see.
That he's played with before.
Yeah, I mean, he's played with them before, but, this is just questionable. I mean, Malrung's not even in range.
You got to know that they have all of this CC ready to go. The chains have not come out yet from Bao on that Varus. Of course, Thresh doesn't, still has the hook. And they just line those both together, and Tucson has no way to get out of that. So it gets taken down. But now it's going to be 2-1. Lead here still going to be for KG Ulsan. As we continue to watch the wet noodle fight up top.
Do you remember what Tucson's name actually means in Korean? It means to throw one's body.
Oh, you're right. He is doing just that.
And you know what? Leona's the perfect champion for him, as he gets to throw Leona into the fights and die.
So basically, the translation is to yeet oneself.
Yeah, well,
and he's doing just that. Rift Herald, though, we under some fire. Crow taking a lot of damage as they push forward. Oh, the flash out of range of the shockwave, and now suddenly this Rift Herald going to be going over to the side of KG Ulsan, capitalizing on the mistakes of KT Rolster. Ray going to get shoved back to the other side of the wall. The blast cone not going to take you anywhere. He is still trapped inside, gets a little bit of damage, but it is a triple kill coming through for Quad.
Who is this guy? This guy is insane. He comes in here. We're like, yeah, Kuro should be fine in the mid lane against this quad guy. Who is this man? And then he pulls off that play. That's like a YouTube highlight already. They pick up the Rift Herald. They're going to be pushing mid. Top lane gets room. It was a triple kill for the Talia in the mid lane after that play, as he flashes the shockwave. He gets the damage done, and he puts down the perfect wall on top of that. The Weaver's Wall, this guy is really good.
Just completely cut him off. He had nowhere to go. We'll go ahead and take another look at this. I mean, Kuro was just trying to shove back Olaf so they could confirm the kill here on this Rift Herald, but they weren't ready for the collapse.
Yeah, and that is the one thing that, we do just have to highlight that. That is pretty insane. Then Malrung gets knocked back by the seismic shove. The perfect wall comes in here, locks him down. Ray was already losing a fight in the top side, so KUS is able to just alley-oop that one over to Quad, who does pick up the triple. And yeah, the Talia speed can really catch you off guard. You got to be careful about that. Notice that it was tier 2 boots against tier 1. So Quad using the passive on the wall to gain the extra speed and close the distance against the Orianna that had already been slowed. And that's all you needed.
Yeah. You know, it's for reasons like this that I'm glad that Dragon X picked him up. I told him, I'm like, look, Dragon X, you're my friend. I'm telling you, this guy Quad, this kid's good. You got to snatch him up, make him a trainee. And Dragon X said, hey, you know, I trust you. I'll give him a shot.
Yeah.
It's all paying off.
The scout of Dragon X squad number 2 is revealed here on the cast. And yeah, man, that was kind of interesting. You know, I was really liking the draft here from KT, but this early game has been a total disaster for them. And we're only 13 minutes in. Yeah. And already KEG Ulsan is making them look like the lower level team.
We were talking before about how KEG kind of wants us to go a little bit later to get the scaling coming through from the Varus from that Aatrox. And it's just, you know, they're going to be getting those items online so much sooner than you ever would have anticipated at the start of this series. With that 5-1 scoreline in a very big gold deficit for just how early on it is. They also have that first dragon. Chains, again, not going to connect in the top lane, but you can already see, though, that KUS is just wreaking havoc on Ray at this point. There's not much he can do to stand up against that Aatrox. Second dragon now goes in. Ocean Drake picked up for KEG Ulsan. Infernal going to be on the way.
And we do have that Infernal coming in as the Elemental Drake, so lots more room in the jungle and around the Dragon Pit. We saw this yesterday. It's a kind of direct counter to Zoe in the jungle, but it'll be interesting to see how it works with these compositions that we have here. The Weaver's Wall going to be much harder to close gaps in the jungle. Some of the AoE plays that can be made by KT's composition, some of that effectiveness is going to be taken away. And we are going to have a lot of Infernal Drakes coming in here, so a lot of damage potential for either of these teams that can pick up the Infernals as they come in.
Ulsan is waiting on those tools to come back through. 4 minutes until that Infernal does come up. See the wave push going through, just trying to crash those minions in the bot lane as they go ahead and return. Will be the swap coming in for KG Ulsan, so Bao and Playeta will be heading up here to the top side, try to get some extra damage on that top turret.
This is an interesting swap. You might be thinking, oh, you know, the bottom lane and the top lanes were going really well for KG Ulsan, so why are they going to do this? Well, in our new preseason here, we have 2 Rift Heralds. It's Shelly and her twin sister Shirley, as we did come up with yesterday. And, you know, shout out to Harold, definitely. I know
Harold is the superior and the original name, in fact, for when the Rift Herald was first put into the game.
Shelly identifies as female, so we decided to give her a female name. I'm sorry about that, Achilleos, but that is what we did land upon. I was a fan of Harold as well, but you take a look at this, because they have the 2 extra bottom laners up in the top side, they're going to gain a lot more control around this Rift Herald for Shirley that will spawn here in just a moment when it does come up here. And that's really the main idea.
Oh, here comes the engage, but see, Olaf not going to be able to be locked down. This time the Shockwave, however, will be able to connect in, and they just absolutely destroy Quad. No chance to even flash away from that one. Good collapse there from the side of KT, and it couldn't have been better timed with that Herald getting ready to come through. Maybe taking the Dark Passage to safety. Bao will keep himself safe so they can at least try to poke down against the members of KT. It'll just be a retreat coming in for now.
Yeah, and honestly, Tucson making up for a little bit of the head scratchers. One-on-one here.
Yeah, Ray chasing in. Manages to burn the flash of KUS as well, so at least gets that 1-for-1 exchange. Yeah, good pressure being put out. That's a great turnaround here for Ray and for KT. As prior, it was looking like KUS was going to be completely dominating that matchup, so good to see him turn things back around now that that Black Cleaver is completed.
Yeah, good job. Just the Renekton finally coming online here. We'll take another look at the play. And as I was saying, Tucson just outplays Quad. Quad had flash. He had flash available. He could have flashed away from that one, but it was just kind of the no look you know, in traditional sports where you can like do the no-look pass and stuff like that, no-look shot. That's basically what it was. He was looking straight at the Olaf and immediately just ulted onto the Talia. And it was a really flashy and nice play. So props to Tucson. Looks like he's woken up a little bit here in this game.
Well, he's pushing forward here, but unable to find a lockdown. Wanted to maybe try to collapse in on top of Italian here. Yet again, to try to find a catch onto the Olaf. The flash is available for him.
Is Dan Italian like a reference to something in pop culture? I feel like I've heard that before. But now I look at it and it just looks like Dan Italian. Like Dan the Italian.
Good name.
And he's a Korean player.
No one in the history of the LCK has been named Dan the Italian, so it's a very original name.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's from somewhere, you know? Like, it seems like too specific of a name to just spawn out of nowhere, essentially.
Anime reference, perhaps?
Maybe? We have seen a lot of anime references, actually, now that you mention it, in the Korean leagues here. As Shirley going to be taken down here by Malrong. Doesn't look like there's any pressure from the side of KG Ulsan, even with this swap arena that they did go for. It looks like they want the Infernal Drake first and foremost. So going to ignore Shirley and go for this dragon instead.
Yep, they managed to go ahead. Snatch that one will be picked up by Malrong. A lot of damage going forward onto the top tower. Just going to be taken here essentially for free by Kuro. No one else really nearby to try to counter that pressure. However, Infernal Drake is going to be snatched up by KG Ulsan. So trading back a bit here where they can. They also get the tower in the bot lane. So overall, going to be a very strong move for them. They still have that lead by about 2,500 gold.
Yeah, you take a look at the trades. It's turret for turret, top and bot, and then you get Infernal for the Rift Herald. And there are no plates anymore, so you're not going to use this surely Rift Herald to get that down. If they could get the mid turret, it could be nice, but here comes the Weaver's Wall.
Weaver's Wall come in. Not going to be able to cut anybody off. TP in the back, however, from KUS. And the scout over, jumps in, manages to find Malrong, but he's going to have a quick little ward hop to take him out to safety. Start up on those Raptors as well, so nothing to be found here for the side of KG Ulsan. They do manage to keep that mid tower alive. He's got a sliver of HP, just about as much as we see here from the KT side, as Tucson is going to be quite annoyed by that one.
Yeah, feels bad. Nice little read there by Bao as he's trying to make it towards what looks to be a Rage Blade second here. Eventually, 3 Dorans were picked up by aiming as he was really looking for some domination in the lane if possible after that rough start. So definitely a big commitment there for the Misfortune.
Like I said, the classic Rengar top build.
Yeah.
When he was released. Just nothing but Doran's blades, long swords, and red pot.
I miss Red Pot.
I don't miss Rengar.
Yeah, we never see him anymore, but Haru is playing later for
That's true.
Hama Life Esports, so maybe, just maybe, if you're a Rengar fan, we could see it today.
He always has been one of the better Rengar players. For now, rotate up towards the top side. Dan the Italian just going to continue on with his jungle pathing. We'll be spotted out by that ward.
Is that what you're going to call him every time now?
I'm going to call
Dan
him
the
Dan. I think
Italian?
I'm going to just call him Dan the Italian from now on.
I'm going to call him Daniel.
All right. Daniel Italiano.
Yeah. Or Danny Boy.
Very good. We have another fun name coming up in the second series, perhaps, but we'll get to that one later on the side of ESC.
That's definitely a for-fun name, that's for sure. Oh, here we go. No TP on KUS, but looking to come from behind.
Yeah, Chain's going to be coming out. Tucson trying to lock him down here with the ultimate. Not going to be able to find it. Will go golden for just a little bit, but can he escape? The Weaver's Wall still going to be cutting him off, and he is going to get locked down and finished off. Bao manages to find a kill. Ray chasing forward. Will get hooked in. It's a lot of cleave damage coming through with that Q, but the chase comes back through, and it's going to be a double kill now over to Bao for the Varus. Over the wall goes KUS. Can't quite find a catch, but right now you could see KG Ulsan. They're thinking about inching up that river, perhaps going for the Baron. Quad, however, maybe second thoughts is wrapping around the backhand side. Dash away. Malrong having that game sense. Still, however, manages to find Kuro. Can they get the kill? Undertow not going to hit. No one else in range to finish him off. Kuro will make it out with a sliver of HP. But the tower does get finished off Seems like Baron not quite going to be on the menu here for KEG Ulsan, but they still very much have control of this game.
Yeah, I'll have to break it down when it does get into the replay. It was a fantastic flank from the bottom side by KUS. Just out of vision. There's no vision on the bottom side. It's all around the Baron for KT, so they did not see it coming. And then Ray's unfortunate teleport follow-up just got him killed on top of it. After that, 5-on-3 was basically the big win for KEG Ulsan. So we'll see this here. There's no vision on the right side. Chains of Corruption comes down, even though Tucson was Flash Blade out of the Aatrox Q. It didn't end up mattering. And yeah, just KT, you know, it's a bit of a newer roster. We talked about how there's 3 players that have played together from 2018 Africa, but they do seem just a bit off kilter here, Achilleos. They're not really playing that well as a team. And it is showing here in this first game.
I mean, you have to know when it's time to stop, when it's time to just rein it back in a little bit. Don't go for the aggression. The TP from Ray absolutely should have been canceled. Malarong was down below half HP.
Well,
in the north side of
that anymore.
Oh, there's a feature I didn't know about.
Welcome back.
Okay,
Achilleos.
it should have been started in the first place. Let's go with that. Should not have been started. With that TP whatsoever. Malarong was down below half HP when he started channeling that.
Funny.
It was damn it. I was doing so well
it's
up
hard
until
too
now.
because that's one where I can't
I made it almost 24 minutes
for you. I'm
without
like, nope.
making some stupid mistake, and then I do that one.
You just Tucsoned yourself off the cliff right there. I'm like, speaking of which,
lockdown going to be coming through. So that's a lot of CC over onto KUS, and he does not stand a chance. Gets taken down. Very nice pickup, and that is going to lead to the Infernal Dragon going over to KT. They have to fight for these dragons from here on out. Otherwise, Ulsan would be picking up that Dragon Soul. So really good denial, really good collapse from KT.
Yeah, just KUS getting caught out there, so got to be careful to do that as the vision has been reestablished around the bottom side of the river there. So nicely done by KT. Another Weaver's Wall going to come in here. I have to say, MVP for me so far is definitely Quad, as he has been shutting down a lot of macro plays from KT, but also making flashy YouTube highlights for himself. Definitely a strong mid laner there for the side of KEG Ulsan, as KUS, just face checking.
Yeah, already burning the dash as well, so much CC means that he can't do anything, so gets taken down, and that leads to KT being able to find that first Drake of the game. So still holding on by a thread. They have not allowed for the gold lead to grow in favor of KEG Ulsan. They've been limiting it as much as humanly possible. So still decent chance for them to try to swing back into this, but it's got to be on the back of a lot of cleanup here with the macro play, with the synergy that we've been seeing from them. Step 1 would also be taking down this mid-tier 1 turret. They've gotten a lot of damage on it, burned the second Rift Herald, but we're unable to find anything now with how many slivers of HP that it has remaining, and we'll go ahead and get finished off. The bullet time coming out from aiming, not really going to be well aimed. So, not really living up to the name in that moment, but it's fine.
He's trying to
force them back. It's a fairly short cooldown. He'll be all right.
He's trying to cosplay his buddy Malarong on the Leeson on that one. As Ray's going to get caught over here. Is Tucson going to get played in?
Yeah, pull in. That's going to be Cox coming down as well. Tucson's still going lower and lower, looking for the shots. Able to find it is KUS. Now instead going to be turning his attention over onto Ray, who has to double dash his way out over the wall. Malarong now under fire. Golden with a sliver of HP. They mistimed the hit there from KUS, but they get him in the end. And now with no jungler, it's going to be the pings coming through from KG Ulsan to move up towards the Baron. Aiming, waiting in the wings. Gets a couple shots in. It's a lot of damage over onto the Olaf. And with that, might have just been able to deny the Baron attempt completely.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You talked about cooldowns. If they waited a bit more, you could be seeing Shockwave and the bullet time coming in there from aiming. So got to be careful about going for that one. I like that they don't take the risk, especially after Danny Boy here in the jungle did take a bunch of damage. As we'll take another look at a replay here. It was kind of a messy fight. You know, it was 2-on-1 going down there on the bottom side. Tucson gets played in. Nice Shockwave here, but there's really no follow-up. You'll notice that aiming's not in position. He doesn't have his ult anymore. If they did Shockwave and the MF ult at the same time, that could have been good, but instead he put on his blindfold when they were diving the mid turret. So got to be careful about that one, and hopefully, again, KT can work on their team play, because that seems to be the main thing that is not coming together for them.
Yeah, I mean, really weird decision by Malrong at the end. He dashes over the wall to Ray as Ray dashes over the wall towards Malrong. They exchange, and Malrong just dies instead of going in with a retreat with the rest of the squad. So a lot of miscommunication still coming through for KT. This is still recoverable, but again, they have to fight over every single dragon. There's another one coming up in a minute and a half. Of course, going to be Infernals all the way down from here. And they have to keep that out of the hands of KG Ulsan. Otherwise, you kind of just start thinking maybe the game's over. And it's in the hands of Ulsan.
I mean, we talked a bit about Dragon Souls before the game started, but this one is the Infernal Dragon Soul. That is going to hurt like hell, especially on Talia and other guys, even like Varus, that can get in there. Also, the Olaf going to be poking down. And it was denied because KUS face-checked the last time, but
I don't think he's going to do it again.
Yeah. Especially from yesterday, too. All these teams from KeSPA Cup, they know that the Dragon Soul buff is massive. So they're going to try to make that work as much as possible. Flash away from a shockwave here. A lot of ults, again, are going to be used from both sides.
Yeah, good exchange there. Aiming going to be poked down just a little bit, but still should be fine with a sustain that he has available to him. Gets a lot of damage put out onto the Thresh here. Sonic Wave going to be connecting Malrong. My mind's telling me no. And he will listen to his brain. Does not chase forward. Would have almost certainly been met with death and probably would not have finished off the enemy Thresh. So they do force him out of the fight, so now he's going to have to wait to rejoin. Going to start sprinting back with those Moby Boots. As we now have 15 seconds remaining before this Infernal Drake comes up. KT going to be looking forward. The wards pushing forward here into the enemy jungle. As Dan the Italian chasing forward, going to be going golden. Shockwave is out. Dark Passage gives him a little bit of a shielding there over to the side. Tucson, in the meantime, going to be caught out by himself. Infernal Chains will not drag him back into the center, but he's one hit away from going down. The flashboard with the World Ender coming up from KUS does secure the kill. A bit of damage again now on the plate, but he's going to be okay. Aiming going to be making it rain, slows him up for the moment. The flashboard finds the hook in onto Ray. He's going to be going golden. Infernal Chains going to be denied again. Into the back line goes the Olaf. Gets dragged out to a little bit of safety, but will be finished off by an auto attack coming through from Kuro. A very bloody fight here. HP bars low on the side of KG Ulsan. They have to peel away, and the Infernal Drake is going to be started up by KT. They have a lot of damage, but can they finish this one off? Going lower and lower. Malrong does have that smite ready to go. It seems like this will be picked up by them. It's like 2 Infernal Drakes now for KT. KG Ulsan still just one step away from having that Dragon Soul.
Nice little try there on the combo from Quad to try to salvage this rough situation. I feel bad for Olaf. It kind of looked like he got hit by a truck as he came over. Did not have his Ragnarok as he was in midair, and the kick from Malrong was the big play that you got to highlight from him. It was a good start in the team fight from KEG Ulsan. They got that damage down onto Tucson. They start the 5v4. But just really good disengage and kiting from the side of KT at the same time. A nice play here, but stopwatch is a good thing. And then look at this kick. It doesn't give him time to actually Ragnarok on time, and that's what allows them to do that crazy damage as a couple of autos just going to follow him all the way back. And once that jungler goes down, that opens up the dragon there for the side of KT. So really good mechanics once again highlighted here from Malrong. And the team of KT looks like they're finally getting their feet underneath them.
Yeah. Dan the Italian was all over that fight, but not in the way that he would have liked. Was just getting beaten and battered around at every twist and turn. And of course, you got to respect those auto attacks coming through from the Orianna in the end. Another dragon is not that far off. KUS again going to be face-checking here in the bottom lane. Shockwave coming through, gets a double hit. Trying to turn something around with that World Ender running. He's got Ray there, offering up further CC, so it seems like he's just going to be taken down inevitably.
They're going Baron.
Yeah, will go ahead and expire. He's buying some time, so it does drag them down. The Baron now going to be started up, but they're standing on top of Ward just outside the pit. Malrong clearing out. Go ahead. Get rid of another ward, and the disengage will be coming through, so the Baron not going to be able to be stuck with, but now a potential to cut them off. If Malrong wants to push up to the north, but even with the numbers advantage, or at least even numbers, seems to be a bit too risky for them as they are still behind in gold, so we'll go ahead and call that one off and instead go for a push up the mid lane.
Yeah, it was an interesting idea, but because they had double teleport due to the unsealed spellbook that Kuro did take on this Orianna, made it possible as Quad's coming in looking for the combo. Not going to happen.
And we were all going out, but an instant turnaround here right onto Dan the Italian. He's going to be taken down. Full time coming out as well. Several low HP bars here for KT. Aiming and Kuro could definitely do with a little bit more health, but they are able to finish off this tier 2 tower in mid. So slowly crawling back that gold deficit, trying to get ahead, get their head above the water. 1.2, 1.3K right now. Going to be how far behind they are, but it's been slow and steady going upward here for the side of KT Rolster. And this time, the Weaver's Wall didn't really cut them off in the way that we've been seeing from Quad in the past.
Yeah, and Amy gotta admire just the presence of mind to stand up to the seismic shove from the Talia. Just walks forward past it and takes basically no damage from the Talia combo, is able to push him back. And then the Olaf he's kind of in a weird spot right now where he's gone Black Cleaver, he's trying to get tankier and tankier, but he dies before Conqueror can even proc. He just dies immediately because they have so much burst damage on the side of KT from MF and Orianna specifically. Even the Lee Sin getting in there. So Dantelian is like, I'm going to run in there and do Olaf things. And then immediately KT's like, no, you're going to die instantly. And so kind of a rough spot so far for the Olaf in this game. And KT are absolutely back in this one and have a good chance to actually take it down now.
I mean, especially with the prospect of triple Infernal getting ready to come up in a minute and 3 seconds. So things have definitely started swinging back into their favor. See already, Palace having to be rescued by Queda just to get himself out of harm's way. KT starting to hover around that lower half of the river to be ready to collapse in on top of that Infernal Drake as soon as it is spawned. They do have that wave pushing through into the bot lane towards that tier 2 tower of theirs that they'd like to deal with, but they can't give up the forward pressure here around KEG's side of the jungle.
Infernal Drake coming up here in just a moment. And it does look likely that KT should be able to take this one down. There's a lot less cover in the jungle, so you can't really set up too much vision and deny too much because there's no brush there. You're kind of just hanging out in the middle. So the one thing you can do rather than hiding in brushes, though, is kind of set up a straight line across to deny it. But KT lose that formation, and now Ray's kind of in an awkward spot here.
Yeah, see ult coming out from Tucson, not going to be able to find anything. Chases forward with the Zenith Blade, and already Dantelian going to be taken down below half HP. Of course, he gets him back with that W, but it's not going to be enough time for him to get over and try to smite more against this Infernal Drake. So we'll just be picked up now for KT Rolster. 3 Infernal Dragons to just the 1 of KG Ulsan. They, of course, have that mountain and that ocean, but the amount of damage output from KT, especially with now the Dragon Soul potential coming in just another 5 minutes, that is absolutely terrifying. This has been a great turnaround from KT.
Yeah, I think there are many mistakes that we can point out from the side of KEG Ulsan, but definitely props to KT at the same time for finally getting their feet underneath them and playing a couple of those team fights afterwards pretty well. And some of the decisions they were making too, like a 2-on-1 down on the bottom side when Orianna's got the TP with the unsealed spellbook. That's a good decision to try to get things rolling before the dragon comes up and try to force KG Ulsan into a bad spot. They are absolutely ahead in this game now with 3 Infernals, just the extra 15%. The AP and AD, they're going to be feeling pretty good with all of the damage that they have in their lineup just to stack that up with all the Infernals. You mentioned the Dragon Soul will go to the next team to take that dragon, so I expect an immense amount of focus on that objective if it does come down to it, as looks like KT are considering going towards Baron first.
Yeah, even the quickest of maths will let you know that 3 Infernals is better than having that extra little bit of gold that separates the 2 teams at the moment.
Yeah.
So percentage stats just working very much in their favor. So on the back foot is KEG Ulsan. How do they turn this around? Obviously, netting themselves a Dragon Soul would be quite nice and a very good step forward to try to finish this game, but they also have to worry about that Baron pressure for the next 3 minutes at least. Maybe might not even be able to get their own red buff. Try to take that one away. Will be taken. That's going to be the engage coming forward. Xena played over the wall. The kick out over onto Quad, and he will be finished off. Kuro manages to find the kill. Kill coming in just a little bit too late, Ray. He'll have his Guardian Angel pop, but aiming this time, lines it up with the bullet time, manages to find the kill. That's 2 gone on the side of KG Ulsan, and the Baron started up for KT. Guaranteed kill for them, and then they can go back to base, spend their hard-earned cash, and in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, likely go pick up the Dragon Soul and end the game.
Yeah, I like how this game is totally flipped on its head. KG Ulsan not able to efficiently make their lead work for them. The Talia that they got fed now has been caught multiple times and has been shut down by Tucson. This is all Tucson to make this fight happen, by the way. Right on top of the ward, immediately just goes in. He's got a Banshee Veil, but it just doesn't matter. Fantastic follow-up from the side of Malrong. The Shockwave misses, but it doesn't matter, as they still kill the Talia. Makes it 5-on-4. All the DPS was expended onto the Renekton's Guardian Angel, which is not going to be a good trade for them. So, as you mentioned now, the total map is controlled here from KT. They're going to be able to push with the Baron, and then I would like to see them not do what we saw yesterday with pushing too far. I want to see them back off after the Baron push, get the Infernal, and take your wins and not overextend.
Gotcha. Don't do what IG did at Worlds either.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
No, that's a bad idea.
I did watch that game. I knew a little bit more about what was going on at that point. Looking for a hook. Just going to be finding a cannon minion. And this is just KT biding their time. They don't have to go in for any real damage on these towers, even though already bot lane tower has been chipped out quite a bit. This is just them basically waiting for that next dragon to come through. Third tower will still fall as a bit of a consequence of their presence in that Baron buff, so now can just go ahead and extra guarantee that Dragon Soul as the first inhibitor will fall in the mid lane. Ray still bringing up the wave here. In the bot side of things, gets a decent amount of chip damage onto himself, but heals quite a bit as well. We'll go ahead and take down that next inner tower and the second inhibitor with 40 seconds to spare. It's going to be the go button now for KG Ulsan. Looking to turn things around. They know that Ray does not have that Guardian Angel, but they can't quite finish him off.
Good luck engaging into MF, by the way. I just want to say that.
They don't find it. Stunned into the back line. Connects onto Plata. Now the Shockwave coming through. Not really going to be able to get too much, but the damage is still going to be pretty significant. From Kuro. Finds the double kill on the back end of the ultimate. The TP back through. Dragon Soul be damned. Seems like this is going to be the push in for the finish for the side of KT Rolster. The Nexus towers will melt down, and the Nexus will follow, and that will be game 1. Going the way of KT Rolster after some tower dive shenanigans from Tucson, who continues to yeet himself forward. He will die in the end, but the victory is still there for KT Rolster.